That should do it.
You're wet recently, Witcher. Would you be kind enough to move that arse of yours?
How are things, Geralt?
Damn it, grab your weapon. To arms!
Belly full, axe sharpened, and liquor awaits. Ready for battle. I wouldn't mind a drink of it now.
Magic or danger?
They're getting close.
Would you be kind enough to move that arse of yours? Right, Geralt. Looks like it's all over.
Thanks for your help, Zoltan.
Say nothing of it.
Enough yapping. Time for some vodka.
First, I want to see if my fuck date's still waiting.
Just don't strain yourself. It takes energy to drink with us too, you know.
Witcher.
Only Philippa Eilhart may enter.
What is it, Witcher?
Who is that girl?
Cynthia, a leashed sorceress.
A charming expression. Do you also use muzzles?
Leash means a connection between a sorceress and her assistant. An unfortunate term, I admit, but it explains how things are. Cynthia can tap my power, use my spells. She's a conduit. And she's learning along the way. It's convenient, and except for the name, not derisive at all. But you're not here to talk about Cynthia.
How is it that King Radovid's court sorceress and advisor is supporting rebellion in Aedirn?
This has grown into more than a simple rebellion, Witcher. Prince Stennis' arrival here confirmed Saskia's right to represent Aedirn.
Saskia isn't fighting for Aedirn, but for the Pontar Valley. Even Prince Stennis considers you rebels. He hasn't moved against you because war with Kedwin hangs by a thread. Why are you here, Sorceress of Tretogor?
It is my duty. If Henselt occupies the Pontar Valley, Redania and Temeria will respond strongly. The North will disintegrate, its unity gone. A dark scenario that is nevertheless avoidable, provided Saskia is successful and wins the Valley's independence.
Even if she thwarts Henselt, there'll be no independence without agreement from Redania and Temeria.
Temeria's expansionist plans melted away with Foltest's death. Redania's ruler is unpredictable, but even he'll have to respect a victory. I'm here to make this victory a fact.
Is what they say true? Did Saskia kill a dragon?
Prince Stennis decorated her for it at the court in Vengerberg, so it appears to be true. If you want to know the details, talk to Biggerhorn. Apparently he witnessed it.
Have you heard about a Witcher's school? Apparently the Viper's their sign.
No, why do you ask?
The Kingslayer wears a medallion adorned with a viper.
Pretentious and childish for my taste. He can't be very smart.
A sorceress like you ought to know bundles about the wild hunt.
A sorceress's knowledge has nothing to do with superstitions.
The hunt's not a superstition.
True, the phenomenon seems to exist.
I want to know everything there is to know about it.
It's strictly atmospheric. It doesn't interest me. Just as whirlwinds, whirlpools, and snowfalls do not interest me.
I'm looking for Triss. Letho forced her to teleport near Vergen.
Letho?
Foltest's killer, perhaps Demavend's too. Will you help me find her?
Certainly. We sorceresses must stick together. We have too many enemies.
Triss contacted you through Sheila de Tanzerville's megascope while in Flotsam.
And I haven't heard from her since.
Can you locate her?
A megascope responds to a person's aura. If I had something of hers, I could find her. You were close to her. Maybe you have something.
No, I don't have anything.
Not good. Wait. A local drunkard claims he saw a redhead fall out of the sky. This could be a lead.
I never heard of flying women before.
Perhaps they're just drunken delusions. It's possible, however, that an unstable teleport ejected Triss near the town.
As it's our only lead, I'll talk to this drunkard. Do you know him?
I'm not used to associating with drunkards, but you'll likely find him in the inn.
Thank you.
Come back as soon as you learn anything. You wanted to discuss something?
At the council, you mentioned artifacts were needed to undo the curse.
But I can't look for them now.
I can do that.
Why?
I have my reasons. Tell me something. What happened here 3 years ago?
Henselt attacked Edern, but met his match. Nobody won that war. Sabrina Glefisig got into a conflict with the commander-in-chief of the Kedweni forces, and this led to both armies being routed. Fireballs turned the battlefield into a flaming tomb. Henselt accused Sabrina of using a forbidden weapon.
And Sabrina cursed Henselt.
I think so. I suspect the curse got out of hand because of the circumstances.
Circumstances? The stars weren't right, wrong phase of the moon. There's always an excuse for simple bungling.
She placed the curse while burning at the stake. Her hands and feet nailed to a wagon wheel. I'd say she did a good job considering.
Know anything about blood curses?
Do you?
We're dealing with a 4th level curse, also known as the Curse of the Archmistress.
Well, I'm impressed.
Thing is, until now I thought it was only a myth, that such a curse couldn't be cast.
You thought wrong. There are 6 confirmed cases of this curse being inflicted.
What about confirmed cases of it being lifted?
1. Achieved by a team of sorcerers led by Archmistress Francesca Finderbear, hence the curse's other name. Sabrina Glevizig was on the team.
Small world.
That's not all. The curse investigated by Francesca and Sabrina was designed to end the Tyson dynasty, the rulers of Kovir. They were cursed by Scarlet Rodalega, a complete madman, but very talented. An eclipse and wraiths also accompanied his curse.
So Sabrina's curse is just a knockoff Rodalega.
Exactly.
Can Francesca's experience help us?
Certainly. I know the symbols and the workings of the curse thanks to her.
Care to explain? I'm the one risking my neck.
You'll have to relive the battle and change its course at the right moment. I don't know exactly what will happen. Nobody does.
I'll look for those artifacts. Did you notice? Not all the ghosts were aggressive.
Yes. Most just disappeared when they touched the aura of a living person.
I think the curse corrupts the ghosts of the fallen and turns them into draugrs.
Is that the Witcher's professional name for wraiths?
Draugrs are demons of war. They arise at sites of exceptionally vicious, bloody battles. They're bloodlust and hatred in condensed form.
Can you kill them by conventional means?
A silver sword is enough for a draugr, but as long as the curse remains active, new ones will arise. The soldiers' ghosts are the key. If I could turn the tide of the battle...
For that you'll need symbols of war belonging to those who fell in battle. Hatred, death, courage, and faith. All artifacts must be magically active and connected to the fallen, or they won't lure the ghosts.
Right. I'll look around.
Finding 2 will be enough. Get the symbols of hatred and death and leave the rest to me.
I'd prefer courage and faith.
Don't fuss.
I'll see what I can do. Cecil seems to know a lot about the area. I'm good for now. I'll let you know when I learn something.
You wanted to discuss something?
You said we'd need a magical object to cure Saskia. Any ideas where I might start looking?
Magical items do not grow on trees, as you know. Luckily, this area has a long history. There's the Battle of Wraiths, the site of Sabrina Glevisig's death and suffering, the abandoned mines.
I was hoping you'd be specific.
I won't ask you to traipse around with a divining rod, but please try to be a little inventive. Ask the locals, that's always a good place to start. I dare say Alderman Burden knows every last stone in the area. Maybe you should see him. You wanted to discuss something?
I found an immortelle.
Excellent. You wanted to discuss something? Remember the antidote for Saskia. It's very important.
How are things?
Everyone awaits the battle. Some pray, others drink. Zoltan and Yarpan are chasing peasants around the square. They need a bit of drilling. Yorveth's warriors are trying to be inconspicuous, and so they should. I'd feel better if they crawled up the devil's arse and disappeared, but Saskia thinks we don't stand a chance without them.
How long have you been alderman?
My predecessor was killed 3 years ago. I was one of his advisors. I knew my way round the circus, so I volunteered to manage things. No one opposed me. Mostly I deal with trade and taxes, and I organise assorted matters. In the end, everyone listens to Saskia exclusively, me included.
This must be the first revolt ever to be taxed.
We can't feed ourselves nor fortify our walls with rebel slogans alone. But rest easy, Stennis and the nobles won't get a single oren from us. Though, of course, the prince is just waiting for the right moment to get his grubby hands on our finances.
I'm sure his motivations are pure, and he'll do it exclusively out of regard for his subjects. Saskia needs help, Cecil. Philippa can produce an antidote, but she needs a magic artifact to do that.
Would you like a fern and a dancing worm to go with it? Listen, I don't know about magic, but there is a place, as long as I can remember, it's been of interest to sorcerers. They say it's a very strong intersection. Look for magic there.
Where exactly is there?
Seek out the ruins in the forest beyond Bergen. There's a place of power there. You can't miss it. Why so glum? Saskia's a tough girl. She'll bounce back. Keep your head up.
Thanks, Cecil.
No, Witcher. I thank you. Save that lass, and you'll save my town.
Cecil, do you know anyone who fought in the war 3 years ago?
I did.
Did you fight here at Vergen?
Course.
Philippa claims you know a bit about the battle.
That old kook insult, called king by some, thought that Aedirnians were bumpkins who'd ship bricks as soon as his troops crossed the river.
Why did he attack Edirn?
According to Henselt, Upper Edirn is the ancient legacy of the Kedwenny crown and must be returned to the mother country. Brazen farter.
That brazen farter had a point. If you read some history, you'll know that 300 years ago this land belonged to Kedwen.
Load of crab. 700 years ago the elves reigned here, and 1,000,000 years ago these lands were the domain of the worms. If things worked that way, every king could invade a neighbouring land and claim his right to do so because an ancestor took a dump there.
All right. Hensel wanted to conquer Upper Edirn. What then?
He rolled in, got hammered, and rolled out.
Cecil, that doesn't help me much.
It wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. If I try speaking of it, I'll see it all again. I don't want.
The ghosts of the fallen fight in the mist. They turn into horrible creatures called Draugrs. Edirnians, Kedwenny, men, elves, and dwarves too.
Bloody hell. No peace even after death.
I want to help them, but I need to know more about the battle.
Very well. Listen, a beautiful day that grew hot later. Very hot. When Van de Grift attacked in the afternoon, he sent a dun banner at the fore. Many of our lads shit themselves at the mere sight of their standard, but we had a surprise of our own. Under the cover of night, we prepared fire pits. Our archers lit them up at the right moment. I still can't believe we managed to fool their scouts. If it wasn't for the ambush, we wouldn't be speaking today. They likely wouldn't be in Upper Edirn at all. We decimated the dun banner, but that was only the beginning. Seltkirk was our commander. Everywhere he appeared, the Kedwennies gave ground. He wreaked havoc among them. Hearts rose at the mere sight of his armour. Then Van de Grift himself entered the fray. Seltkirk met him in the middle of the field. In the end, Van de Grift killed Seltkirk. A terrible death that sent the Aedirnian ranks into disarray. I thought it was the end of us. Then the sky fell, as if the stars themselves had decided to avenge the death of a great knight. Fire covered the battlefield. Nobody sought the enemy. They were all looking for somewhere to flee. Yes, there were no more friends and enemies, only the living and the dead. They say it was the doing of a Kedwenny sorceress who wanted revenge on Van de Grift. Could be true, as Henselt had her executed right after the battle.
You captured the Dun Banner standard?
Henselt's choice troops, and not a one survived. The visitors sent them to their deaths, refused to give them reinforcements. He was a monster in human form. The men of the Dun were real swaggerers, killed a lot of our lads, but for every Dunner, there were 7 Aedirnians. They had no chance. Aye, we captured their standard. We buried what was left of them in the crypts beyond Vergen. Their standard lies with them. Worthy foes are to be respected, even in death.
I'm going to need that standard. You saw the Kedwennies cross the river?
From afar. I saw Van de Grift leading 4,000 heavily armed men. Many a heart sank when we saw the elite bearheads or the armoured banners from Ard Carrig. The Dun banner was in the middle, veterans of Brenna. As soon as he set foot on Adernian land, Vandegrift climbed a hill and surveyed the area, as if it was his fief. Son of a bitch was as sure of himself as ever. Upon spying him, I remember the dwarves all dropped their trousers and showed him their asses. Then Selkirk stepped out in front of us. His white armour shone in the sun. We were afraid a Kedwini arbalist would shoot him, but they too stood as if frozen, and Selkirk just looked at them and bowed ever so slightly.
Remember anything from before the battle?
As if it was yesterday. Henselt's troops crossed the Pontar the third day after the autumn equinox. Edirn had good spies, so we were ready for them, and Selkirk lined up our troops along the hills. Our hearts rose at the sight of the banners of Vengerberg, Aldersberg and Gullet fluttering in the wind. Knights and armoured infantry side by side in our ranks. Even the peasants had their regiments. The dwarves were on the left flank. Over 5,000 strong we were. Nobody caring about race or background, like never before. Only King Demovind was missing, but he must have had more important business than defending his country.
Did you see the duel between Selkirk and Vandegrift?
I stood half a furlong from them. Never seen a fight like it. Probably never will again. They'd already met once, at a jousting tournament in Ardcraig. Selkirk won there. He beat on the visitor so hard he broke his sword. Selkirk was a true knight, the last of his breed. Vandegrift was so pissed off after that tournament he hanged the smith who made his sword and ordered a special one from a sorcerer. I bet he cut down Selkirk with that new sword.
Vandegrift is dead. What happened to his sword?
Saskia's got it. Good thing too. Only her hand can tame the hatred enchanted in that sword. After the battle, when the flames abated, the scavengers came. They stole everything. Imagine, not a single keepsake of Selkirk in the whole of Edirn. His brother babbles something about a gauntlet, but he's a lying dog.
Thanks, Cecil, that was helpful. I think I know what I need to lift the curse now.
Madame Eilhart claims you need 4 symbols. The standard symbolizes death. Vandegrift's sword stands for hatred. What about the other 2?
I have a feeling Philippa has a handle on the rest.
Here's hoping you're right.
We killed most of the necrophages.
Most?
The passage to the lower level collapsed. They won't get out. In time, they'll die off and you can restart work.
Thank you, Witcher. The whole of Vergen thanks you. Here's your coin. Shive, Skaggs, and Zigrim will get the same. See you, Governor.
Witcher.
Let me tell you about the woman who fell from the sky.
Another one.
At your service.
Let one human in, and in no time they've got a swarm. I heard human women need only sit a strap. Or men.
What's with everyone being so nice today?
Lots going on around here.
Aye. A virgin dragon slayer. Squirrels dazzled with her. Politicking peasants, witches and a witcher. And onlookers gawking at the whole thing.
Hope things get back to normal soon.
This place stinks of trees now.
Peasants now refuse to shovel manure. They dream of fighting.
Lots going on around here. Hope things...
Let them dream. What's the rush?
Hey!
The situation's grave.
Hello?
They want freedom, equality.
No pigs.
Greetings!
I heard you saw something interesting.
As clearly as I see you. Amazing. I look into the sky. But wait, you must buy a fellow a drink for such a story.
Well, you shut it already. We can all recite this bullshit now.
I'm a client and I'll say what I want. Pour me some Mahakaman mead and no cheating. This noble wayfarer will pay.
I'll pay. But if you bore me, I'll shove this meat up your ass.
You're such a fine liquor. And my ass has no taste. You won't regret it.
Speak.
Last week I was passing by the gullies. I like to take a hike from time to time.
Get to the point.
Hush. So I'm walking and suddenly there's a flash. A crack. I'm thinking, a storm's coming. But nary a cloud in the sky.
You hit the ground with your arse so hard you saw a flash. You were that drunk.
Then I saw people lying in a gully as if they'd fallen from the sky. A man and a woman. The woman was so beautiful, I wished she'd fallen down on me.
What did the woman look like?
A redhead, wearing a vest and high shoes, with pert tits and a round arse. Just waiting to be grabbed and...
That sounds just like your old lady.
Shut your mouth!
What happened then?
Well, the woman was hurting, couldn't get up. The man clearly disliked her, because he didn't help her. He just stood there, menacing and talking, and then he left. And the redhead stayed.
Noticed her tits, but didn't even try to help her, you sod.
I was about to do exactly that when a troll came out of the gully, ugly as shit after blueberries.
Did it attack her?
Not at all. I hid and saw everything. First he sniffed her, so I thought he'd eat her. But he didn't. He threw her over his shoulder like a sack and returned to the gullies.
Is that all?
Yes. Didn't waste your money, as you'll agree.
Hello, Chief.
He travels the lands, killing monsters for coin.
Don't be afraid of him!
Greetings. Sorcerers mutated.
I think I've heard of you.
Let one stray in, and before you know it, the neighborhood's full of them.
Business or rest?
Rest. And maybe some trading.
Ah, welcome. How can I help you?
Change the fate of the kingdom. Stop talking here!
Who's this, my failing eyes spy? Geralt of Rivia visiting old Yarpen Zigrin.
Did you fight at Brenna?
Oh, fuck. I knows you've got amnesia, but you could have remembered that. Ah, it was a beautiful day. On one side, 46,000 black ones. And the other, us, the Nordlings together. The Redanians led by De Ruyter on the left, the Temerian regiments in the middle, and us on the right. The Mahakam Volunteer Army, all dwarves. Even the likes of Cohor must have shit his britches at the sight of us.
He hardly lacked courage as I heard it.
A right brave bastard, that's true. Prefer to die than run like a rat. I don't believe I've ever seen a bigger melee, except maybe 3 years ago here at Vergen. Would have managed that day too, even without the magic. That burning shit that fell from the sky. Why, even the Dun Banner knelt before us when we brought our battle axes down.
Some say not one of the Dun Banner survived. Any truth to that?
Biggerhorn nabbed the survivors as they fled south, but most men of the Banner lie in the catacombs, along with their standard, the Dun Banner. What the hell kind of name is that for a unit anyway? It's as if they couldn't get their fucking flag clean.
Were you in Rivia when I got caught on that pitchfork?
Was I? Fuck, Wolf, I saw you die. I didn't see the little bastard who took you for a haystack, but I swear it looked like you weren't going to make it. So I'm well glad you managed to lick your wounds.
I don't know if it taught me anything.
Come on, it had to. Not many have survived their own death.
You haven't noticed that I'm pissing up wind again, fighting for a cause that isn't mine?
No, I haven't. A free Upper Aedirn is in the interests of any decent fellow.
I've been trying to figure out what Philippa Eilhart's doing in all this mess.
Same thing as always. Conspiring until she gets her pubes in a knot.
I know you hate sorceresses, but try to put your animosity aside.
Oh, we hate them, that's a fact. But why do you think that is? It's not because of their secret knowledge or their nice tits. Their hearts are full of dung, Geralt. Mark my words.
You exaggerate.
Maybe not all of them, but Eilhart's the worst. Need I remind you how she peddled her ass to Dijkstra just to learn the plans of the Redanian intelligence service? Everyone in Vergen knows she's not into cock. I tell you this, it's her ilk that caused the ruckus on Thanad Island. Think she's any different here? I'm crap at talking, Geralt, but you do alright. So I'd appreciate, soon as Saskia's better, slip a word in her ear to watch out for Philippa.
Getting anywhere with the new recruits?
Like whores in a brothel, they're ploughing away at full speed. Saskia's army's full of men better at holding their pricks than a weapon. But Zoltan and I are helping them catch up. Most importantly, they don't lack spirit.
They won't defeat Henselt's regulars with zeal alone.
We'll show you what an army facing either victory or death is capable of. For we've no other choice, Geralt.